mission.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bullish Bears Looking Left. I'm Devin. That's Jeremy. That's Stone. Well, I have no idea where the actual things are, so could
Just
be over
point
here for
that
all I know.
way.
Oh,
It's
no,
all
I
good.
got a four-grid of everybody over here. So
There we
Love
go.
it.
hey,
Anyways,
everybody.
welcome. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit that bell. We greatly appreciate you for joining us. This is Bullish Bears Looking Left.
Looking left. We'll call it that, but we'll adjust the thumbnail later. We'll make it say what we want it to say.
What we wanted to say is what we wanted to say.
That's right.
Exactly what we want to say.
Been a great morning so far. We had a nice little mix-up of penny stock. We got some news on Amazon that broke out. We've got SPY kind of grinding sideways, kind of waiting to see if maybe there's some politics in the air coming through the week. Perhaps that will make SPY move one way or another. There's a couple equities that'll be hinging on that too. We'll see how it goes.
In the air.
But in the meantime, we kind of touch base on a topic that seems to happen often when we see big companies making big layoffs. It's funny because in the moment that the news pops, you'll see it go bearish all of a sudden on the 1 minute chart, and then when you think about it, like how much are they saving on payroll, and how does that affect their margin? Short term, they tend to be bullish, and I'm watching Amazon pull out of a nice little rounding bottom as we speak, after they announced that they're going to lay off, what was it, 100,000 people?
10,000, I think.
Oh, 10,000 people. Let me go back to the chat.
Still.
I got to go look that up. But yeah, that's still a significant amount of people.
A million if you're watching that old movie, The Fifth Element.
Oh, yeah.
Lilu Dallas Multipass.
No kidding.
Multipass. We have a dog
Multipass.
named Lilu because of that. Lilu.
Awesome.
Chicken.
Great movie, by the way. We'll plug that.
I like sci-fi.
That's not a paid endorsement.
I just want to hit the Back to the Future thing and get Biff's Almanac. That's what I want to do. Only I want the stock market almanac and just tell me like big bold letters, buy Amazon when you're a kid. Yeah. But at any rate, we've got some decent price action to trade this morning out of things. We had a penny stock that we were looking at, this NWTN, low float penny stock. They decided to change their ticker name. And it's funny because, let me put my screen up because this is hilarious. We were looking at this thing this morning, and we noticed it gap down. And I'll always watch these gap down penny stocks in the pre-market because typically they'll have a little dead cat bounce towards the middle of the day or even right about now. And you get a pretty neat little trade out of them, usually. But look at this thing, trading at like $10 and some change. All of a sudden they say, oh, we're going to change the ticker. Poof, big old drop. And then they do the ticker change. Poof, big old drop. Even bigger drop. And if you look, it's really just a measured move down, sure. But usually those measured moves tend to have a high probability of being a little dead cat bounce at the bottom, at the very least, unless they're going to be a triple leg and it drops down below $1. Who knows?
I think Rich Dad would call that the bottom of the range.
Pretty much. And, you look at the possibility of, okay, well, maybe this will bounce back to $5. It's possible you get a 50% retracement of the whole move, or even a 50% retracement of the daily, bear bar. That puts you at like 430 possible. I don't think it'll go there, but, nonetheless, I went through an order in at $2.90, and I closed half that position at $2.50 with a limit order, even though I knew that the double bottom price target was pretty simple. You just look right in this mess here. This was pretty easy, actually. You look to your left. Here's your R1, and as it broke out, it was pretty easy to see the targets. There's target 1. Just run my cursor straight across, 329, 330. Second target, easy to see, 350. That's where my limit order was. And this ran up a little bit above that, ran to like 362. Could have had a little more, but I don't care. Profited half the position, profited another half of the position on this wick right here with a limit order at 340. And now I'm sitting with a risk-free position. That's how you do it. When you see a double bottom, you trade a double bottom. If you want to hold the position overnight, which, like I'm saying, it's possible it can get upwards of that 450 level. It's one to watch. And I've got a risk-free position, so why the hell not? If I want to close it now, I close it now and take all the profit off this. Totally cool.
That's it, man.
Amazon, kind of a situation. We had that little gap down here. It's a nice little bearish measured move to the bottom. They probably broke that news a little earlier than we got it, you know, and then it kind of worked out, popped up a little bit. Now we've got kind of a little, it's a rougher looking on a 5-minute chart than it is on the 1-minute chart, but you have that little IHS pattern, that little spike. Okay, the news broke here. It tapped out $100, swung on through and came down below the 200, swung back up. Now we're just tapping on the door at $99. I got a good feeling that it'll probably close around $100 towards the end of the day, maybe $99, $100. Just kind of looking at it. Like I said, when they lay people off, it affects their short-term margin for sure. So, you know, kind of goes with any company.
You got a good rising channel there too.
Oh yeah.
And it's not expanded or wedging.
Nope,
It's just a flat channel.
It's starting to trend on up there. And you know, SPY's kind of grinding on a little bit. We got the 1 hour chart here is just kind of flat plateau. Oftentimes you'll see these rounding tops. They'll look bearish at first, and they'll hit support and just bounce out and become a small part of a bigger measured move. We've got even as high as like 402 marked out on Wolf Wave targets. If you turn the dope on, you can see all of our lines. You know, 402 is definitely possible if it does break out, but if it doesn't, we know where the support levels are, and we know where the key pivot is. The key pivot's 396. If we get bearish, we can go all the way to the extension down here around 390. That's a hell of a drop. Or we can go to the upper extension. We go to God forbid 415 by the end of the day. I doubt that, but we know 415 is pretty key resistance by looking left on our daily chart. Let me get rid of the lines. 415 was an accumulation zone way back here. That was our accumulation right in this mess here. And if you look at this entire situation, it looks like just a giant double bottom. We got a nice, nasty, rally and drop bear market trend here. So if it can't quite break that 402 mark, yeah, there's a good chance that this was just yet another rally in a bear market, and we can just start shorting it. We play it by the candle if we have to.
Also hit off that double bottom. We can also hit a nice double bottom right there.
Exactly.
Even if it bears back down, I think we're not in bad position for that sort of thing to happen too.
Yeah, we'll eventually pick up some momentum. I think it's going to, accumulate for probably a little while, and we just trade the chart as it comes to us. We can look at long-term stuff on SPY. Typically, it's pretty easy to see, but in the bear market, it's a different ball game. You literally trade day to day, candle to candle. I trade 10-second candle to 10-second candle. Yeah. So
you're a trip.
Yeah.
And listen, we all want to get there, but you trade candle for candle. It doesn't matter which way the trend is going. The way you read a chart, you can go up, down, sideways, everything. That's where we all want to get.
He wrote a 1 minute wick. He's like, oh, I see that. Yeah, that morning or evening start over, and then he rode the wick from the bottom up.
Right?
I love that.
I couldn't believe it. I went, oh, that's how a 10-second chart works versus the minute.
You get that practice, man, and you see enough price action, dude. It's just you don't even have to think about it. You just know. It's just like that fast.
It's going to bounce off the 8 period, and I'm just going to ride that up. That's fine. Yeah.
It was funny. And we were talking about this little Busby right here is what we were talking about. This is a 1 minute chart. We had the bar up, the spinner at the top, bar down. And
now
then
look at this wick.
Hammer.
Look at that little
This
wick.
is the wick I traded right here. I traded up from the 8 period up to the top of that wick on the ES chart. And it was a pretty simple little trade. You look at stuff like that and you're like,
Vulcan.
How the hell did this guy see that on a 1 minute chart? Well, just a typical Busby. When we get these evening stars, oftentimes you'll get priced back to almost the height of the second big candle in the mix. We call it the third candle retracement. And, it runs almost to 100%. Sometimes you'll get where it just, gives you a nice clean bar straight up to the top. If there's high volatility, if there's low volatility, it'll just give you a little hammer and a little wick up to the top. But they don't always reach right to it. I usually keep it a couple pennies under on SPY. If I'm going to day trade SPY shares, which I rarely do, I usually do an option swing. I wouldn't trade an option swing on this. This is more of a let's trade the ES chart type of move. Just real quick scalp. I mean, within that 1 minute candle, this guy right here, this little spinner, trade started and ended. Boom, done. And like I said, you get enough price action in you, man. It comes naturally. Like right now, we're setting up for a little evening star or morning star pattern right off the 200 period. We can almost certainly expect a push right to about 398, 05, 06.
You
As
know,
we
I
watch.
also want to bring up Jeremy again. Brought it up a couple times today already. This is a 5-year program, not a 1-year program.
That's right. It's going to take some time to get this all learned out, and you can
Right.
get your experience on the way. And if you start with price action, and even if you just start paper trading on a really really short term chart, you can really start to understand price action, price structure. You can start to understand the structure within the structure, and know exactly which points to trade to. You get all your pivot points and your control bars and points of interest, VWAPs. It all kind of plays in, but like you can start really just start seeing it in just the candles. So like you can go and set up a naked chart and start trading short term on a naked chart, and it's just like everything sort of wakes up in your mind at that point. You're like, oh hey, I know exactly what this candle's telling me that this candle's going to do. It's pretty easy to see. You can use the crosshairs on your cursor here to find those control bars and find those levels and look at them repeat. Like this bar here, about the same. Pretty easy. So
Yep, you're using the level on your crosshairs.
that's it.
Right.
That's it. If this, then that. Follow program, execute program, done.
That's the big
Exactly.
commonality that I've found between you, Scott, and Stone. You all use that.
What's that?
The crosshairs.
The
The levels on
crosshairs.
the crosshairs to tell yourself the story. You remember?
Pretty
Oh,
much.
yes.
I
Yep.
remember when I was first here and
Yeah,
talking to
Scott did
Scott.
that a lot. Yeah.
I was talking to Scott. I was like, "What are you're doing this thing with your crosshairs? What are you doing there?" I said, "I'm telling myself the story."
Mhm.
Oh, that's important.
Yep.
Yes, it is.
You're
You know?
And looking left is important.
exactly.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
looking left, and that's what those crosshairs do, man. They give you that look to the left, and they give you a look in time where you can expect it too. So like sometimes you'll see me floating around between a few candles right to left. You'll see me looking at the time, like, okay, well, if it did this in 2 minutes, then what's the next scenario to do in 2 minutes? Well, finish the move. Where's the next bar? Right here. There's your 1 minute bar. So if we break above the 8 period and we broke above our target for our retracement on this bar here, already done, where's the next move go? If this, then that. Next target, 398.50. Pretty
Now,
easy. So
Also, bring in Chart Nasty.
yes, get it.
Show that chart. Show that with Chart Nasty so they can see it. So
Get it
you
nice and
need-
dirty.
You
So
need to have those training wheels. You got to see those things. And
absolutely.
what we're learning is how to see that without it being there, which is where Jeremy's at. He's already seeing that in his head.
It's all mapped out. It's like the program's already
Set it up.
written. You just got to execute.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you clear your chart. I don't clear my chart. I leave it
Yeah.
there.
I clear it every once in a while because I get so many lines on there. Like while I'm demonstrating for a group, it makes it hard to teach when there's just so much crap in the way.
So
It's
much
just
there,
like
yeah.
you can't see
Right.
anything. I can see it.
German engineering of training wheels, huh?
Right. Pretty much. And this has been a key pivot here. This little 397.67 area. That was set up. Where did we set that up? I think that was the opening range high. The first two candles. Yeah, right here. Top of the body. I always back it off a penny or so, just kind of know where that line is. That's just today's pivot, and it's pretty simple. We're looking at it as it was resistance. Now it's support. It's support. It's support. Okay, it's support. Well, now what?
I guess it's support.
And then the wolf waves are pretty easy to trade too. You got your high, first high, second low. On a bearish one, you got high, low, high, low. Run it right through here. Fires right off. Came right to that. Dropped through it. Tested the extension down below it. You got a measured move here below the wolf wave, and then back up to the wolf wave as resistance. Broke it. Accumulated. Broke out. Wolf waves in a 1 minute chart. That simple, that easy. And same goes for bullish wolf waves. This is an extension now. This is first low. This is first high, second low. Second high was here. You can count it as here. That's too damn steep. Count it here. And look all the way out. Line that sucker out. And, it points to that 401.50, 402.50 area where we've got known pivots. And if it gets bullish towards the afternoon here, when we get that, that bar 41 at the end of 12 o'clock hour here, we're going to know if it's going to start being bullish. This becomes an accumulation point. It can go to those limits. Not a problem. Just set those pivots. Know where they are. And like I said, if this then that. If it's going to go here, it likely is going to go there. So
Remain calm. This is a 5-year program.
yeah,
I like.
Breathe.
I like
Breathe.
that's just it. I think a lot of retail traders come into this thinking they can just, and I always want, thinking you can just learn this stuff really quick. And it takes time. This is not something you're going to learn in a few months.
No.
You can get lucky. But right now the market is not the same it was during the pandemic.
No.
And it's not the same way it was for 13 years prior to where we are now. So
Yeah.
you've got to really take your time and learn these things. Don't skip steps, and don't let the greed get in your way.
Yeah, this is
Don't let emotion get in your way.
And you get emotion, it happens.
This is a rough
Yeah,
market to learn in. But I'll tell you something. The market before with that bull trend from 13-year long bull trend, it was easy to make money in that market, and everybody
Sure.
was doing it.
Buy and hold. Everybody was buy and hold. They didn't
much.
even know where they were buying, and they were just buying it and holding it.
That was the old saying, BTFD. Everybody started shouting that and putting it in bold letters on chats everywhere. It was just buy the dip. Well, a lot of them forgot the second part of that, and this is the most important part of that: sell the rip. So here we are.
Sell the rip.
Sell the rip. Yep.
And you get into that statement, that mentality. It's really just a simple program. Buy here, sell there. If this, then that. Execute program. Over and over and over again, price action. But
If
this
it doesn't
market,
work, new program.
yes, and this market is difficult. I mean, you look at that daily chart, and you zoom out.
Yeah.
This is rough, man. So if you get really good at trading price action in this time, in this rough market, you're going to have a much easier time making money in the bull market when it does finally come around.
What is
And
it that my friend said? He said everybody looks like a genius in a bull market.
yes, absolutely, good point.
Yeah.
And you start
Everybody
getting
looks
into
like a genius in a bull market.
that practice where you've got so much volatility, you've got so many patterns repeating over and over and over again. It just makes it easier for you to learn. So if you get the mentality, yes, this is a 5-year program of essentially being really good at trading, sure. But in the short term, in a bear market like this, you're going to get a lot of experience in a short amount of time. So you can take advantage of that volatility, and you can accelerate that to be, a 2-year program or even a 6-month program if some of you are really fast learners, and I know a few.
There are a lot of folks that can learn this fast,
Yes, and
especially if you're younger.
this market condition for being as hellish as it is to a lot of long-term buy and hold or buy the dip type of people, this market is going to teach you a lot really fast. So that's going to be kind of both a good thing and a bad thing. It's going to be bad for a lot of people getting a bad taste in their mouth, getting burned on these bull rallies that pop up in a bear market. It's going to hurt. It's going to sting a little, but they're going to learn something. And the ones that stick around and come back and figure, okay, what I do wrong? Let's go analyze what I did wrong and start over. They get to a point where they learn something, and then they can actually gain from that knowledge and that experience, even though they lost some money in this particular market condition.
They're not losing money. They're investing in their 5-year tuition.
Yes, we call that trader's
There you go.
tuition.
That's exactly right. You got to look at it that way.
I mean, if you're paying for a master's degree, how much does a
How much you
master's
gonna pay?
degree? How much you paying for that? Is it going to give you something back? Definitely, maybe.
Yeah, good point. And that's just it. Like that's where we're at. You're going to pay that trader's tuition, and it's compared to going up for a PhD in something. It's a hell of a lot cheaper, and can actually, if you get really good at it, produce the same results financially. So I mean, it is possible. You can make some pretty serious money at this. So.
Well, and you can roll the
pay
money
it.
back into investments, and you don't have to necessarily get taxed on it.
Pay as you train. That's a good point.
It's the thing. Doctors and lawyers get taxed the most out of anybody.
Yeah.
They get a doctorate, they have to pay all this in taxes. The thing is, we can roll it back into something else and not ever pay taxes on it.
Exactly. Plus, if when you do turn around, inside that year, if you lost a bunch of money going into the year and gained it all back by the end of the year, Yeah, there's some wash sale stuff that'll go on in there, but tax-wise, you get to write off your losses against the.
Get to
you know.
write off your losses.
So, depending on how you do it,
There you
pay
go.
attention to the wash sale rule.
Trader.
But here's our push.
We're not trying to duck anybody.
I don't know what the wash. Yeah, you got to pay attention to wash that. We'll get into that another time.
Yeah. Well, look at this, dude. This is another example of those equal candles. Here's your control bar right here. This candle, 1220, boom, repeats right here. Target made. I mean,
Yeah.
if
3 points.
you get to that point where you can just see that on a chart and know what's going to happen, dude, it's so.
You mean like I just did?
Yeah, exactly.
3 points. I'm like, yep, I get that
Nailed
one.
the
I'll get
3-pointer.
that one.
I love nailing those 3-pointers. I could do that all day long in futures and just be happy, even in a crap
Doing that on a
flat
10-second
market.
chart.
Yeah.
I'm doing it on a 1 minute watching a 10-second chart.
Yep.
It
It
looks
is
like-
so.
looks like-
Are you using a reverse fractal? Are you using
No.
a 10-second chart to tell you what the 1 minute's doing?
Yeah.
No, what, the 10-second, you mean? tell me
For
what the one
for
is?
candle to candle, that's how I do it. It's the structure within the structure. So yes, you're
Yeah.
technically right. You're
That's-
using the
that's what I
small
was
pieces to make the big piece.
Yeah, you can go both directions with that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And this last week I didn't trade while we were doing this, but I'm trading now.
Heck yeah, why not? I mean, if you've
I
got
saw
it, you got it.
I
and-
saw the open. I saw the open. I see where we got to break certain levels. We just last minute on this 30-second candle. I mean this 5-minute candle.
What is it? Trade the break, not the.
yes, trade the break and not the setup. Exactly.
trade the
So,
break, not the set.
Just going back into Amazon, and we'll probably wrap it up here pretty quick because we got to get back to trading and get back to our chat room.
I need to just take
Discord
my
channel.
headset off for a minute. Somebody needs something, so I'm gonna get it to
Yeah,
them.
go for it. I'm going to walk through Amazon while you do that. So looking at Amazon, I'm kind of getting anxious about this because this is kind of a nice little rounding top. And we know that oftentimes they will look bearish and then all of a sudden they will rip up. And if you look at these rounding tops as if they are an accumulation part of a measured move, instead of looking at them as a bearish trend or a bearish reversal, if you want to call it that, you can kind of get an idea of, okay, well, where's your support zone? Look at the previous high. It's right here, $98. It held $98. All right, where's the resistance point? About 101 and some change, 101.50 we'll call it. You don't have to be dead on. You can just be close enough. If this becomes a measured move, our half move target's 105. A full move target's like 110. You just take the whole height here and stack it up on top of the support zone. Measured move done. So when you start to see those more often and you start to practice those on like a 1 minute chart, hell, there's a measured move right here. There's a bar, accumulation, bar, equal, move, right? That's 2 legs of a measured move right there on a 1 minute chart.
Yep.
So, when you have these accumulations where they roll over and they look like they're going to be bearish and then they just rip your face off, that's exactly what you're seeing. So when you come down to it, you get enough practice on these short-term charts and you start to see this on the long-term charts. Like, hey, I know exactly what that looks like. And it just
Right.
clicks. You've seen one, you've seen them all. It just
Now,
makes
that's
sense.
but that's usually on a specific chart, right? You've seen it on that chart before.
Well, price action
Or are
takes
you-
place in any time frame, so that's a good question. You think, okay, can I just trade this on the 10-second chart then? Yeah, of course you can. But can you trade this on a daily chart with the same kind of analysis? Absolutely, you can. That's how
I'm
this
not talking-
repetition gets.
I'm sorry, Jeremy. I wasn't talking about
Oh.
time frame.
Oh,
I meant,
gotcha.
I meant like from one chart to the next. I mean, SPY works. We've seen that SPY will mimic because it's a basket of stocks. So
Right.
Some are gonna, but is Amazon part of? Amazon's not part of SPY. Is
So I
it?
mean, it's a piece of it. It's essentially you get the big caps that are a bigger percentage of SPY. Like you go look at Apple, it'll give you a bigger clue because Apple's 7% of SPY. I mean, that's kind of a given. But you can go and
But what I was trying to get to was on the chart. The patterns come again on that chart typically. It's going to repeat itself. You'll find those patterns.
so the patterns you're looking for will happen in any equity, any chart, if that's what you mean. And you can look at SPY as sort of a canary in a coal mine. It just kind of gives you a good idea of what the general market flows look like. You can throw QQQ up there and kind of get the same idea. And effectively, you can use that as kind of a precursor to be like, okay, well, if we've got enough advancers, decliners in the mix here and everything's starting to advance, you can go and pick off each one of those advancers and compare charts to SPY, and yeah, they'll track. Go look at the decliners, and there's usually something else going on. There's some sort of bearish setup pulling back or whatever. But eventually, if everything starts to curl back out of a bottom, that's where your trade opportunities are going to be. So if you go and you pay attention to that advanced decliner map, you can go and look at individual equities. Okay, well, what's declining now and why? And you can catch up to that and catch a little bounce off the bottom and catch a bullish reversal on a bearish trend. If SPY continues to rally, usually those will kind of follow eventually. And yeah, it does make sense to do that. So like oftentimes,
Thanks, Jeremy, I really appreciate that. That's exactly what I was asking.
Oftentimes I'll pick up these penny stocks like that too. I mean, it's like I'll look at stuff that just took a nosedive in the pre-market, and I'll go back and look at, well, why? You know, this particular one, they had a ticker change. So what? You know, why did everybody sell?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and it was just an easy trade, and now it's starting to kind of curl back up a little bit. I mean, it's a low float, so it doesn't take much sales and time to move that. It will move. And that's what I like to trade anyway. I like to trade volatility. So it's been a while since I've like scalped a penny stock. I think a couple weeks ago I scalped like COMS, for instance.
Right.
Mostly I've been scalping futures and options, and I've been messing around with.
When you scalped it today, I was like, when's the last time you scalped a penny stock? That's exactly what I was thinking.
Been a while, but I saw that setup. I'm like, I cannot deny that double bottom. It looks great to me. Hit the limit on that sucker and got in, got out, making off like a bandit, and
Made a buck.
And I'm still like, I'm actually in a risk-free position, but now that it's come back across that $3 mark, I'm in an even more profit position. So it's like, I'll leave it on for a while. Why the hell not? You know, so.
And that's the really beauty is that you only sold part of your position. You held on to the other.
Right, so I sold a little over 3/4 of my position to make the profit cover the risk on the remaining position. But yeah, that's how I did it.
Yeah, you zeroed.
It's scaled out. Exactly.
Yeah, scaled out.
Another pivot here. So.
And now
Yes, sir.
now you basically get a free ride on that. So if it makes a big jump.
Exactly. If it does run back up to that $8-10 mark, you know, I'll clean up. You know, if it makes a run to $5, I'll probably just close the rest of that position and say hell with it. But you know, that's just the way it is. I'll take my profit as I see it and as I see fit. So I can swing trade that
play though, man.
For free. Day trade's already done. You know.
Yeah, you zeroed your position. You get to play on that table for free.
Exactly. And I don't want to liken things to gambling. I hate that.
I'm sorry.
We hate that.
Sorry.
But let's put it in another perspective.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep. Sorry about that.
So
That's okay.
one of the things we teach over here at Bullish Bears is how to be an option seller, meaning an option writer, or you essentially trade like a market maker. So you find equities where you can get in like silly cheap, like something like this. And this is optionable, but the options volume sucks on NWTN. It just does. But there's other equities out there like MULN. You've got a couple other little penny stocks that do have plenty of volume on their options, and they have strike prices above and below price. You could sell cash covered puts, just below what the price is trading at, and literally get paid for the market to come to you. And the same goes for selling covered calls against existing long positions. Well, when you think about it, a lot of speculative traders, and we don't call them gamblers, but technically they're kind of riding on the razor's edge of, taking a risk on a position. So when you sell them an option,
they're also like only risking a small percentage of their entirety. It's
leverage, and when you think about it, in the sense of, okay, if I'm going to compare this to a casino, I want to be the casino. The house always wins. So the guy writing the options wins because time is going to eat those options up. And if you do it to where you make your analysis, you do this on a company that you have really good belief is going to remain profitable or eventually become profitable, you can certainly do that. You can sell all the options you want on that thing. And man, it is insane how fast you can make some income on selling options.
And that's because of time decay and the people renting that space from you.
Pretty much.
As opposed to being the person who's renting that space, hoping that the volatility is going to carry you through before you get eaten up.
Exactly. And the comparison kind of swings to that. It goes, okay, well, I get to be the casino. That's one way to look at it. But then again, you look at the other way. It's like, well, let's actually relate this to real estate instead, because you are holding a position and you are renting it out essentially by selling options against it. So yeah, you're building your equity in the position. Every time you sell options to open and they expire worthless, or you buy them back cheaper than you sold them for, you make an income on those. That income offsets your cost basis. So it's like having you loan yourself money to buy the property, and every time you make cash flow on the thing, that reduces your cost basis in the property, thus building your equity in the property. Make sense?
And
Makes
you're
sense.
and you're renting a room out in your house, basically.
Exactly.
That contract, right?
Exactly. And you can sell it on both sides of price. So you can sell them simultaneously. You can sell cash covered puts and covered calls on the same equity as long as you hold enough shares to cover the calls. Don't ever sell naked calls. I do not recommend that. Naked puts all day long because they're covered by the cash in my account. But calls, your risk is limitless if you sell naked calls. Don't do that. But if you want to sell naked calls, that's to your own business. I know a lot of people who do. That's fine. But I would never do that on something that trades at penny stock levels, especially if it's a low float, because my goodness, you can get destroyed in minutes. So if you're selling or seconds, yes.
Yeah.
If you're selling options on a penny stock and you find a good penny stock with good options volume, dude, you've hit it. And if you at least practice that before you take that strategy to large caps, dude, it's going to make a world of difference in how you can generate income on a long position. So we love giving this kind of knowledge out anytime we're on YouTube, and this is something that we train on internally on our group in our our Discord server. We're out there day to day, one-on-one in some cases with our members, teaching these strategies and just nailing down every little refinement on them. And it's just been awesome because a lot of people are starting to really make a difference in their own trading, and we're getting some feedback on that. We're just overwhelmed with joy about how awesome that makes us feel when we get.
Just, that's why we're here doing this. Like,
exactly.
The goal is to. I mean, Jeremy was talking to me about this. Like, the reason we want to go live is because I want to share this with everybody.
Right.
Yep.
I want everyone to get these strategies. And yeah, I'm sorry you got to listen to a whole hour of us just screwing around and talking. But there's gems, and it's worth it.
Absolutely. So watch it again, and like I said, tell your friends. We're getting bigger and bigger every day, and anytime you guys help us and support our YouTube channel, it also helps us in the long run to be able to provide more and get it out to more people. We want to teach these things to the world. We want to give. We want to be part of the movement that gives the market back to the people where it belongs. That's the whole thing.
If everybody's watching the market, it'll smooth. The market will stabilize because of that.
Exactly.
Everybody's watching it.
That's it.
I'm watching it right now while y'all are talking.
Heck yeah, scalping it, man. That $3.99 is being a tough cookie.
Yeah, $3.99 is being a tough cookie. We passed 4,005 on the MES. We're up now.
Just doji over for me.
Buy is now up.
I'm gonna go put in my bare teeth real quick.
Be careful. So we've basically closed the gap from the pre-market.
He's right.
Across the midnight hour there.
I'm screwing around. Jeremy's right. Be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Watch it if you're bearish right
Don't get those bare teeth out yet, because this is anybody's market right here, right now. So this is going to be interesting.
We're right at that pivot point, man. We're at that.
We're at that pivot, and we're at the Globex, basically just before that gap down. We're at that Globex high. So I can't get the range up here. Hold on.
399.35, by the way, is the high for last week.
Yes, right here on that doji.
That's always important. Your previous week's high.
And we're sitting.
1 minute, we're just kind of going sideways there right now.
Just on top of the Globex high right now, 398.94 right there.
Break this next 399.16, by the way, ish is a previous VWAP, and we're going between two VWAPs right now. Came back, went through one, came back and retested it, and now we're heading back to that 399.16. I'd say if it breaks it strongly and heads up to that 399.35, then we've got some nice levels above us.
This is looking like a two-leg to me. There's move one, accumulation. Move two can take us up to that $400.50 mark. Half move would take us right to the $400 level. Very cool.
Pushing through some pivots on a lot of guys right now. Even the Russell's moving a little bit. Pretty cool. Yeah, absolutely. Looking left.
That's
we look
it.
at the VIX.
VIX. I'm looking at the VIX. VIX is right now going sideways. It's
Right.
down. Dollar's been coming down a little bit. Dollar looks like it's going down, or it's
Sideways. Sorry.
downward for the most of the day.
I
When the
used to
dollar's down, stocks go up.
sell in the
Dollar
money
down.
call credit spreads on UUP just before I thought the dollar would be likely to tip down as a hedge for my short positions on SPY during this whole bear market cycle. And a couple times, I realized that essentially if I couldn't unwind my short positions fast enough and swing trading them, that's what the hedge was for. But now it's just every once in a while, it just makes a ton of return on that because I'm selling like dollar wides for 98 cents, dude. It's insane. And then have price come through where everything's out of the money. It's like I basically got paid for nothing. So I love it when the dollar comes down that fast. Let's just say that. I know UUP is like kind of a terrible thing to trade. It's an ETF that's based on the dollar index, and sometimes it moves big, sometimes it doesn't. By big, I mean 50 cents is a big move for that, over a couple days. But if you sell with enough time to expiration in the money, call credit spreads, it's rare that you will get a big profit out of that. But sometimes you get just a massive return when a dollar takes a quick dive. And I used to use it as a hedge, and now I just kind of use it as my YOLO. Risking two pennies on a dollar wide is nuts. There's like very little chance of profit on that. Usually, you're going to lose 2 pennies or $2 per spread. But boy, when they hit, it's awesome. So, all right then, we're going to probably wrap it up and get back to our server here. It's been great hanging out with you guys. Don't forget to hit
Jeremy,
that like and subscribe.
Can we get a quick recap?
Yeah.
Put it all together. Bring it all back.
Yeah, sure. So essentially, we're looking at Amazon. I'm thinking is going to be bullish. As long as it gets past this resistance point, it's about 102. We could probably see it cap out around 115 towards the end of the week if it remains bullish. If not, it can break over, and go and retrace, like 92.50, 93, somewhere in that neighborhood. But just keep an eye on that. Right, like I said, right now it's a fairly neutral market for Monday. Looking at last week, we tend to look at the whole week as what our sentiment, sets up for. These rounding tops, as I tell you, they oftentimes will look bearish until the last minute, and then they'll rip a face off. So just be aware of them. They will move quick when they finish accumulating. And if you compare that on the daily chart, I mean, you look all the way back in that zone where we had that long, couple of weeks of accumulation here before we had that nice, nasty crash channel that we shorted.
Nasty.
It's sometimes will take a few days or even a couple weeks to accumulate like that. But when it does make that big move, man, it comes fast. And I mean, this is a daily chart, but that was quick. When we traded that, dude, we were freaking dancing. So, well, some of us were.
Some of us were, yes, indeed.
Now you're looking at 2 days of sideways here. It's kind of like if this day closes another doji here, you can expect some retracement in that range between like 393 and 398, 400, somewhere in there. Sure, it can just grind on sideways for the whole week and eventually pop out. So we always look left on our long-term charts first. Exactly. And then we come back and narrow it down. We go closer and closer and closer to recent price action, and you get on these shorter time frames. You can see there's different things happening. You're starting to see possibility of a trend beginning on the 15-minute chart here. It's accumulated to enough where it can actually have a chance at breaking that resistance. But if it doesn't, the bears will be right there to sell it. So
right, if it doesn't. That's right. They'll be right there waiting.
It. Every time. So we always watch this candle coming up in the next 9 minutes here on the 5-minute chart. These two candles will kind of give you a sentiment for the rest of the day. So keep an eye on those. Just to wrap it up. And, stay frosty, stay quick, and practice. If you can't practice short-term charts on like futures, go play with a couple penny stocks. Hell, go play with a couple sub-dime penny stocks.
Yeah.
Just 1 or 2 shares. Practice that price action trading. Even if you're making a penny a day on something with a couple shares, dude, If you're profitable, you're profitable, and the idea is to build your skills, learn how to cut your losses really quick, and let your winners run. And find the price action telling you what to do with every candle. Anyway,
This is not gambling.
no,
You
this
get
is
to take your money. You get to take your money off the table if you don't like the way things are going.
exactly. Anyway, we're gonna sign off. We will see you guys next week on Monday, and
Remember to like, subscribe, and hit that bell.
Come
Oh,
visit
and
us in
share,
Bullish
and
Bears.
share, and come see us. in Bullish
Share.
Bears.
tell your
Come on.
friends. And we're here every morning, by the way. We share about an hour or so of our live stream every morning, so we'll keep it coming. See you guys tomorrow.
Bye, y'all.